And my mother told me something that really saddened me. It broke my heart. And here's why it's so important for us to get this message today and to act today. Because just Hey lady, welcome back to your new favorite talk show for Christian women, Grown Lady Chat. With me, your host, Dr. Sherunda Simone. As an inspirational speaker and personal development enthusiast, I figured that I would switch up our Monday broadcast for Grown Lady Chat. So if you've been tuning in, you realize that I post every Mondays and Thursdays. That's when we have our new episodes. But as I was thinking about the growth of our channel and how I can better serve you, I thought that we should switch things up on Mondays. So on Mondays, I'm going to be sharing something inspirational or even like a good character building challenge that we can engage in as a grown lady community. So today's episode is going to be uniquely special because it will be the very first episode of its kind here on Grown Lady Chat. And I know you're going to be blessed. My grandmother lived to be 105 years old, and I had an extremely close relationship with her. Part of it, I think, had to do with the fact that for a certain part of my life, I lived in Jamaica with her. And even though I went to an all-girls boarding school, when we had long weekends or certain holidays, I would be able to go home and spend that time with Grandma. But there was just something special about the relationship between Grandma Brown and myself. That was definitely my girl, and I miss her so very much. Now, as a young girl, I can remember always admiring her perfume and her brooches. She had these elaborate, beautiful brooches. And then sometimes I would look into her drawer in her bedroom and I would find these beautiful lace nightgowns and these luxurious fuzzy slippers. And I would ask her, I would say, Grandma, you look nice. She dressed nice all the time, even around the house. She always was well put together. But I remember asking her, why don't you wear these rings? Why don't you wear this perfume or these lovely bedroom slippers? Why don't you wear this beautiful duster around the house? And she looked at me and she said, well, I'm saving them. I was like, saving them for what? She said, for a special event. She said, God forbid I take ill. I have to go to the hospital. I want to make sure I look decent in my undergarments and that I have everything I need. And I said, well, what about the dishes out in the front room? Because she had some beautiful dishware. You could tell they were vintage and they were in like the buffet server and, out in the dining area. And even though when it came to dinner and supper, we always had nice plates and nice dishware, nice utensils, we never used the fancy stuff, And I remember asking her and she said, oh no, we're saving that. Those are for special occasions. When she passed away, I had the opportunity to look through some of those same drawers and in her closet and in her kitchen. And I remember looking for those things that I had admired as a little girl. I looked for the rings and the perfume and the dresses and the nightgowns, the brooches, and I didn't see any of those things. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe she donated them because that was my grandmother's heart. She was a very giving woman. Or maybe mom and my aunt, they took them and, they had them for their own mementos. That would be a great thing, right? They could have their mother's items and experience them and use them themselves. I thought, well, maybe they probably put them into storage for safekeeping. I remember when I went to Jamaica. This was years before my grandmother passed away, but I was a young adult at that time. And again, what did I do? I began to look through her items because it was always something new and exciting for me to see and always something pretty for me to admire. And so we were both in her bedroom again, and I was looking through and I saw these 2 rings that I had always admired as a little girl. And I was nervous. I don't know why though, but I was nervous to ask her for them because, she wasn't wearing them, and every time I would come by and I would see them, even as a little girl and now as a young adult, and they were just sitting there in her little jewelry box. And so I mustered up the courage and I asked her for these 2 rings. Now, my grandmother had never said no to me. If she had it, I wanted it, I asked, I got it. But for some reason, I was apprehensive, but I'm so grateful that I overcame that apprehension and I asked her because she readily said yes. She said, absolutely, take them, they're yours. And I remember taking them and I carefully brought them back to my house in the United States because by then I had moved back to the US. and I put them in safekeeping. And just like my grandmother, I wanted to save these items for the perfect event, the perfect moment, the right outfit. So after my grandmother's funeral, before I got back on the plane to come back to America, I was sitting in my grandmother's room with my mom and my sisters, and we were looking through grandma's things. And I asked my mother, because I noticed that so many of her precious items were missing, even some of the houseware items. And I asked my mother, I said, Mom, where are they? Did you put them up? Are they in safekeeping? You know, maybe you and Aunt Joyce split them and you're enjoying them. Where are grandma's lovely things? And my mother told me something that really saddened me. It broke my heart, but it also gave me a different perspective on life. My mother told me that over the years, various men and women had come in to, help my grandmother around the house. Now, thank God, she had some wonderful, wonderful people come in. I mean, some of these women I grew up with, and they were like aunties to me. And some of these men that would come and clean up around the yard and help in the outdoors, I knew them well, right? They were like extended uncles. So we had some really great people in grandma's life. But my mother told me, she said, but then there were also some untrustworthy people. And slowly, little by little, not all at once, they would come in and when they would provide a service, they would leave with a little extra. They would take a plate or two. They would leave with a perfume, or they would take a dress without my grandmother's knowledge. And when she told me that, I was so saddened. Number one, because I realized that, wow, I could have asked grandma and she would have given it, and I would have been able to keep them for myself or share them with others or pass them on to my children. But I didn't do that. But what hurt me even more was the fact that grandma never got to experience those things because she was saving those things. She was saving those dishes and plates and those beautiful nightgowns and luxurious perfumes. She was saving them for this special moment, this monumental event that never happened. She was keeping them, preserving them, just in case she had to be hospitalized. But she was never hospitalized, thank God. And I began to think to myself, wow, could we too be doing this? Lady, I'm going to ask you, could you possibly be doing the same thing? Now, please believe my grandmother never stepped out and didn't look right, okay? She was always well put together, beautifully adorned, but she did have specific things that she was saving for a moment that never happened. And I thought to myself, and I want for you to ask yourself, could you be doing the same thing? Could you be reserving certain areas of your life, certain experiences for a perfect time, a perfect moment when everything is aligned? Are you preventing yourself from enjoying life to the fullest because you're waiting for a perfect moment that might never happen? People like to say, oh, life is short. I don't agree with that statement. I don't profess that statement because in the name of Jesus, I will live a long, full, healthy life. Amen. My grandmother lived to be 105 years old. That's a long life. And yet there were still little niceties that she didn't experience because she was waiting for the perfect time. At my grandmother's funeral, I heard a woman say something that really impacted me. She said, even though Miss Brown didn't have many extraordinary things happen in her life, she did live an extraordinary life. She was intentional with all 100 plus years. Yet and still, there were certain things she didn't enjoy, certain luxuries of life, certain everyday experiences that she could have elevated because they were right there in her presence, in her possession. She didn't have to go out and seek these things. She owned them already. She had access to these niceties in life. But she, like so many of us, was reserving them for special events and occasions that never happened. Lady, this week and beyond, I want to challenge you. Look around your life. Look in your closet. Maybe you have that little dress in the back that, it fits you and it's really nice, but you're saving it because, you don't want to wear that perfect outfit for just a random day. Lady, let me tell you something. Please hear me out. This day, this moment, today, it's special. It's unique. It will never happen again. Grasp this. This moment in time is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. You might have days that look like today. You might have days that resemble tomorrow. But this moment right here, right now, it will never happen again. That makes it special. That makes it unique. So what are we waiting for? What are you waiting for? A few weeks ago, my youngest daughter and I, we were talking right before she went to bed, and we decided that we are going to have a tea party. Why? Because we can. You can have the event. You can create the moment. You can create the special opportunity, lady, okay? So we've been planning this tea party now for a few weeks, and we're going all out, okay? I'm extra, she's extra, so it works. Let me know in the comments if you're extra as well. But we are planning this tea party, okay? We have decor, color scheme. I mean, you have to wear certain outfits and all, okay? We're going all out with food and everything. So, of course, I hop onto Amazon to get the rest of my decor, and I think to myself, you know what? I should get a nice tea set. Why not? And as I'm going through all of the options on Amazon and I'm, putting things on the list and jotting ideas down, it dawns on me, hey, you already have a tea set. You have a tea set that has been in decoration for years. Because when my husband and I got married, we were gifted a vintage tea set from dear friends of ours, and I've never used the tea set. Now, the plates and the dishes I've used for like Christmas and Thanksgiving, but the actual tea set I've never used because I was saving it for a special event. So much so that it became a part of the decor in the kitchen. And I thought to myself, what you doing on Amazon? And then I remembered after I saw my grandmother's experience, I realized, look, you're doing the same thing. We're not going to do that. No, we're not doing that. So I hopped off of Amazon. I made sure that I had enough for everyone who was going to be in attendance. And so we've decided that we're going to use the tea set that we already have, the vintage sentimental tea set. We're going to use that for this special moment that we created. Nobody invited us to a tea party, but we decided we're going to have a tea party because we can. There's air in our lungs. We're in our right minds. We can have a tea party. Nothing super expensive, but we're making the moment. We're creating the opportunity. We're creating the experience in our everyday lives. Lady, I want for you to do the same thing. Now, for you, it might not be something tangible. Okay, maybe you don't have an outfit that you're preserving or, jewelry that you're not wearing. Maybe it's an idea, a plan, a purpose, a passion project that you're reserving. Maybe it's that you want to buy a house, but you're not yet married and you think, ooh, well, no, I want to wait for my husband. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to travel. Ooh, but I want to wait until I have kids so I can do it with them. That's a nice sentiment, but you can also do it now. You can also do it in this very season. Following my grandmother's funeral, I stopped preserving things. I stopped waiting for the perfect moment. Now I wear the rings often. I wear them on a Monday, I wear them on a Tuesday. It doesn't matter. And that doesn't mean that every day has to have some special thing happening. I'm just being intentional. I want for you to be intentional and make every day special. Because you're alive, because God gave you another opportunity. They say the present is a gift, and it's such a little cliche statement, but it really is. Today, this moment, it is a gift. It's an opportunity. And I want for you to live in that moment. I want for you to experience that moment. I don't want for us to live with beautiful decor in our homes and not use it. I don't want for you to live with this purpose, this passion in your heart, and you never tap into it because you're waiting for that perfect moment that may never happen, even if you live to be 105 years old. So now every time I put on one of my grandmother's rings, I'm reminded to live it up. Make the opportunities. Take the opportunities. Don't always wait for the perfect season, the perfect moment, the perfect time, because it might not happen. Lady, get this. Your life is the event. Your life is the moment. Today is the time. No more delays. This is going to be your challenge this week and moving forward. Look for areas in your life where you are preserving and reserving, where you are preventing yourself from having the full experience, and make the change, make the decision. Of course, go with the unction of Holy Spirit and use wisdom, okay? But don't miss out on opportunities just because you're waiting for the perfect time. This is the time. This is the moment. Today will never happen again. And here's why it's so important for us to get this message today and to act today. Because just as how there were untrustworthy people who came in and slowly robbed my grandmother, the same can happen in your life and in my life. And maybe it's not tangible things. Like I said, maybe for you it's not a physical item, but you can have people in your life come and rob you with their negativity, with their hurtful words, with their lack of confidence in you. with their condescending tone. People can come and they can try and rob you of your purpose, your passion, your plan, what God has told you to do. Or maybe it's time. Maybe when you were in your 20s and your 30s, you had this brilliant idea, but you were waiting for the perfect time. You were waiting for the degree, for the husband, for the house. You were waiting for everything to line up. And since it hasn't lined up in your expectations, that perfect event hasn't happened, then you wake up and now it's been 20 years and you haven't touched that thought again. You haven't made any plans. You haven't been purposeful. You haven't executed on the idea. See, time can rob us. People can rob us. Experiences can rob us. Insecurities can rob us. Slowly but surely, diminishing each and every day, just diminishing. It's a little bit, until it becomes so small that you can't even recognize the idea, the purpose, the plan that you had 10, 15, 20 years ago. Lady, let's stop doing this. Let's be intentional. Let's be purposeful. Let's look for ways that we can elevate even the little experiences in life, not as another burden, but as an embellishment. Your life is the event. Today is the special moment. Act now. Do it now. Let me know in the comment section what you are going to do this week or this month or this year that you've been postponing, you've been reserving and preserving for the perfect time. Now, it could be using something in your home that you have relegated to, only special occasions, like your dishware, or it could be something like starting your business. Let me know in the comment section because I am excited to hear what you have coming up in your life. Until Thursday, remember, I am Dr. Sherunda Simone, and I will either see you at the top or from the top. You decide. Bye.